Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new session of the Shift Network Sound Healing Summit. Our special guest this time is Mona Delfino. Mona Delfino is a born healer, shaman, and energy medicine practitioner who has worked to help heal thousands of people across the world. She's the author of the book, The Sacred Language of the Human Body, and is a sought-after speaker and teacher worldwide. But in addition to her public presentations, Mona is also noted for powerful private session work, which promotes individual healing through exceptionally accurate spot-on readings that key into her clients' unique individual needs and patterns, helping them to tune into the magic of the medicine within to change their lives.
Oh, I use it all the time. I believe that sound is probably the most incredible way of the body changing, and it's also the quickest way. Besides light, light and sound are the two highest forms of energy that we can use to, progress our changes, especially in our bodies and our DNA structure, our cellular memory, all of these things, our behavior patterns. We can all be helping ourselves in the long run to learn how to change ourselves if we understand how. So, and I will get into that with you a little bit on how to do that. And mostly we'll talk about humming. We'll talk about the frequencies, the vibrations that you use to go inside. Humming is a vibration. Everything with sound is a vibration. And those vibrations are what actually tune into us. Do they align with us, or do they not align with us? And the way we do it is intentional vibration. When we become intentional to what we desire, or when we become intentional to a certain tone and then have a thought form behind the tone, no different than when you're speaking. When you're speaking like I am right now, I have an intention to share this with you, see? So that sharing comes out of my mouth, and then it is resonated by you. So this is how we do it. But if you do it through healing, it's really fun, because then you can actually do it for yourself. And humming is a real big tool to do that with. But Alec, before I get into that, I just want to share a little bit about how sound works in the physical body. And so I've learned over the years that with all that technology that I learned 30 years ago with this, I've learned to do it through my toning, just through the sound of my voice, or through toning in general. And that's what I'm going to share with you today.
That's beautiful. I love that perspective of sound and toning as a personal self-empowerment tool, where you can really explore and experience how you can create shift and changes for yourself, by yourself, through the creative power of sound.
Right. And we have to remember that everything is energy. So it's not that we can just manipulate it, but we can understand it. If we honor it and we understand it and use it, that's what I believe energy is for. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to learn how to grow and change and be the best we can be. And especially in the times we're in today, it's amazing. And then it's not as hard as we think. That's the beautiful part. Some people think it's very difficult to learn how to change, or to, how do I do this? If I haven't done this my whole life, or if I can't feel in my heart, how do I do that? And so in this way that we're going to teach, it's going to help people to understand how to understand basically how the cells compensate. So when you do a hum, it goes back through the vibration of the inside of your body, and you feel the vibration. And then it starts to change the cellular memory, because it vibrates. It's no different than, and if I can explain this for a moment, it's no different than the Schumann frequency resonance that we have around our Earth. It's the same kind of energy. And what I mean by that is, being a heart-mouth trainer and coach, we learned from Roland McCready, who's a scientist at Global Coherence Initiative, is that the sound waves they come from the solar wind. So what happens is there is a solar flare. The flare hits in the atmosphere. The solar wind takes that flare and it disperses it wherever it goes. A lot of times it hits around the Earth's frequency. So it's actually called the Schumann resonance. It's the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And what happens is the wind comes in and it will hit on that frequency. And there's about 8 different frequency levels around the Earth. And they all measure around 7.8 8 hertz. So it's not as high as some people think, but it will vary a little bit. It'll go 7.8 to 8.2, maybe 8.6. So it doesn't go up to 145 hertz. That's unheard of. It basically stays around the same frequency, but the intensity can shift. So what that means is there can be a big solar wind, and then if it hits the Schumann frequency, you can imagine the rings around the Earth, and when it hits like that, it plucks like guitar strings. So it has a vibrational movement. And what happens is the human race feels it. We all feel it when that happens, and some people get anxious and some people get lazy, and everybody has a different way of responding. And basically that's kind of the way we're in right now, is a lot of frequencies are moving, and so the intensity has increased around the world. And so what we're doing is we're learning how to go within, okay, because the best way to change the world is to change yourself. And so we learn how to go simply within, and to be calm and cool. Because when the body is calm, the body takes on a new resonant frequency. And so to keep calm, there's many, many ways to do that. But sound is one of the best ways to keep yourself in a position of being able to recognize what it is you want, how you want to do something, and how you decide you want to put that intention into your physical body, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual.
Very good. And sound and toning in particular is a very powerful, simple technique, which really doesn't require a lot of initial training to begin,
No.
but can have profound plateaus that one can evolve towards, beginning with a simple seeming practice. But I'm hearing you saying that sound, in this case toning, is a way to connect yourself to the greater energy sphere of Gaia, and also modulate your own internal vibration state to connect with it, or perhaps
Yes.
surf on those waves.
You absolutely nailed it. It is connection, honey. Everything that happens with energy is divine to connection. See, so it's where two or more are gathered. When you connect to something, it's kind of like the Big Bang effect. When okay, for example, if somebody says something to you and it's confirmation to something that you were thinking before, boom, it's a connection. See, and then when two or more are gathered, it increases the energy. So it's a frequency lifter. And so when that happens, it becomes more real. So it's a beautiful thing to understand when we start really getting into it. It's like, if anybody knows what cymatics is, that's a scientific way to understand how sound works in toning. And cymatics, are you familiar, Alec, a little bit with cymatics?
Yes, but give a quick overview of it for people who may not be.
Okay, well, it's a certain tone, okay, in particular. It can come through a speaker, and let's say you have a plate of sand that's on top of the speaker, and then you turn up this frequency tone. It's a ooh, if you have a tone like that, it's going to go through the speaker, it's going to hit in the sand plate, and the sand is going to vibrate. So it jumps up a little bit and down a little bit, and it keeps doing that at a very, very high intense rate, and suddenly it creates a design. So somewhere in there's a pattern, and the pattern comes through the sound. It's fascinating when you start really looking at it. And there are YouTube videos on cymatics, and it's just a wonderful way to understand how sound and tone works in your body, because cells are really mutable. We don't know that they are necessarily, but they are. And the more we understand that we are the universe, as Deepak Chopra likes to talk about, we are the universe. It is true. The cells in the body, they represent you, and they listen to everything you think. They listen to everything you feel. They listen to everything that you have been through. So the cells will automatically respond to something that's familiar. See, it's not just this, that's what we call cellular memory, but it's more than that. It's more than that. We have something called the amygdala, and it's in the brain. It's tiny, tiny little glands that sit on the upper part of the temple. And both of those, the glands on both sides, they're very small, but they create patterns in memory. So in other words, your feelings are associated to this. And so a lot of people don't like the amygdala because it says, I don't want to remember that.
Right.
But the truth is, you can change it. And so, so I'm here to help you understand how to change that perception within yourself, just through sound, just through tone.
Beautiful tone and the active work of vocal toning. So honing in a little bit, how do you, as a practical technique and practice, how do you use toning and what is it best used?
Okay. Well, I'll share that now. That I'll talk a little bit that, even when you talk to your body, Alec, even if you're like, your leg hurts, talk to your leg. Talk to your leg. Say, I understand you're in pain and you're trying to tell me something. Have a discussion with your body. Your body isn't there just to hurt. It's there to talk to you. It wants connection. So when you talk to yourself or you talk to your body, that's a form of sound therapy. It's actually a vibration that goes back into a biofeedback loop into your system. And then it will tell you even more. Either the pain gets stronger or it will go away. Now, the way that you can do this to add to that is to go ahead and hum. And stay as humble.
That's good. I've never heard that one.
Okay. Stay as humble as you can. And remember that you're doing an intentional vibration to a biofeedback in your system. So let's say you're going to do a note at random. Okay, so I'm just going to share with you a note at random, any note at all. You don't even have to be able to tell yourself that you can sing. It's not like that. You just want to or whatever you want to do. You do a note at random. So don't freak out about is it right or wrong. We don't go there. So we just want to do a note at random, and I'm going to share with you how I'm going to do it. Okay, and then I'm going to share with you a little bit different about it, a new form of frequency. So we're going to go into a humming, and the humming is going to be from your mouth into your body with your lips, shut. You're going to hum. So you're going to feel the vibration and be kind of loud. Don't do it really tiny because you want that vibration. You want to feel that vibration. Yeah. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start feeling something, whether or not you want to. What's your intention? Is your intention to go to your heart? Is your intention to heal part of the body? It has to be for you, though. It can't be for other people. It's got to be for you. So whatever that might be, you just want to go ahead and use your intention and then apply it to the sound. So your mind is thinking, okay, let's say love in the heart, okay? So then you're just going to go ahead and say that and go, and the voice took over. It did what it had to do with the intention. And now my low back is tingling. My legs are tingling a little bit. The vibration has run all the way down to my feet. This is how we can change the cellular memories. This is how you can change any concept of moving forward. So that's really a good way to understand how tone works in the body.
That's powerful. And I love that because, I believe we said a few minutes ago, it's a simple practice. And once you put the energy of your intention on the sound and have the courage to start making the sound, the sound sort of takes on a life of its own and becomes like your teacher and source of initiation, and it carries you on a wave. But before I forget, you also just encourage people to begin this practice. You started with an important point to emphasize that this is not a musical practice. It's not singing. You don't have to have any vocal training, and there's no worries about judgments.
Right.
There's no American Idol panel of judges scowling at you. It's simply, it's an energy work. Sound is an energy work, working with pure energy in the form of sound via your own voice. And take that leap of initiation to start making the sound, as you noted beautifully. So thank you for that. So humming, the power of the hum, it's fascinating. It's simple seeming, but just profoundly powerful practices that can take you to beautiful, unexpected places.
Oh, absolutely. It can do anything. I mean, sound is an important factor of resonance. So resonance is our frequency. I mean, this is what we're made of. We're made of resonance and frequencies. And, even Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, know energy, frequency, and vibration.
That's beautiful. And sound is a way to work with these creative energies directly. fact, be the creator of the creative force.
You are the co-creator of your own system. You are the co-creator of your own body. You're the co-creator of everything. You know, what you attract, what you dismiss, you do it all. And so, you know, that's the power within the body. And when people don't think they're powerful, they don't think that, you know, they have much to offer. I've got news for you. You are everything that the earth is waiting for.
Beautiful. And I've got that as maybe one of the overall one-liners to describe your work, which is to empower people to really discover the medicine within, as we mentioned in the intro.
Yes.
And
Yes.
their own inner wisdom and ability to tap into these healing currents.
Exactly.
Is that a fair, simplified statement? I know, but
And you know, Alec, one other thing I'd like to mention real quick is I was speaking at the Conscious Life Expo in February in Los Angeles, and we were on the healing panel, and there were like 9 of us on there. And there was one woman that came up, and she started to do what we called with dowsing rods. She had somebody from the audience come up and stand next to the wall on stage while she walked all the way back, you know, all the way back to the other side of the room. She had her dowsing rods ready, and then she had the person standing there say, the light within me heals me. And he's like, he was from New York. He was so cute. So he goes, all right, the light within me heals me. And she started to take a step forward, and those dowsing rods opened all the way as she walked toward him. And I'm telling you, she was probably about maybe 20 feet away from him. And then she kept going, and they just got, you know, they were just big the whole way. But then she had him do something more interesting. She had him say, I don't matter and I don't like myself. She just had him say that out loud, even though whether or not he believed it. He said those words, and she was back where she was before. And as she went forward this time, the dowsing rod stayed shut. And she walked forward, and she kept moving and moving and moving. And those dowsing rods never opened until she got maybe 3 to 4 inches away from the body. And that completely opened eyes to the 300 people that were listening in the audience. It was like, wow, you know. So what you say matters. How you feel about things matter. So let's turn that as an incredible intention for your own sake, for your own love. And this is also going to help your self-esteem to know, you know, how powerful you really are.
Powerful to keep in mind, because those affirmations we know have power stated verbally, but as you were outlining earlier, when you take the energetic intent of that affirmation and then embody it, express it on a tone, would you feel that even amplifies it further than just verbally stating it?
Oh, absolutely. Because remember, I talked about the vibration. So the vibration is not just how you say it, but also the inward part of toning, of either toning or humming. It can be either or, whatever you're more comfortable with. But as long as you can feel it, that's the most important part. You can feel the vibration. You know, when I used to do this with sound therapy with a sound table, it was great. I mean, people could feel their own, you know, their own tone coming back through their bodies. We would just turn it into a delta phase. We would run it because there's a, you know, theta, you know, and then it's down to delta. And we would just turn that up a little bit higher and vibrate that frequency to their body. And it was their own tone. We just changed it through the keyboard, and it went back through the loop into the sound table, and it, you know, and they could feel it. We were able to do amazing things. And, you know, I mean, when people say, you know, you can't grow cartilage back, Jeffrey has a few little things that maybe he could, you know, share at some point for people who want to know. But yeah, it works out that your body will respond. So, you know, this is a new time in history. We are becoming energetic beings more and more by understanding that frequency, because we have to thank the universe for giving us all this, you know, eclipse, full moon information.
Yes.
So it's all good. It really is.
That's fascinating too. There's just a lot to think about there. But for people who don't have may not have access to like a device like that sort of sound table, you're advocating just simple humming and
Oh, yes. Yeah.
just on their own, and that can still be used as a powerful biofeedback mechanism to help people connect.
Absolutely. Like I said at the beginning, it's more of a vibrational sense that comes back through your cells. And as long, like I said, I could feel it in my back, I could feel it in my legs and down my feet. You will feel it as long as you hum. If you hum, you close your mouth and it pulls back into the body to give you that vibration. It works great.
Beautiful. I love that. And so in addition to humming, any other sounds or that you are a fan of or would recommend people experiment with?
Well, I think that, again, it really has to do with if you want to change anything in the body, you have to feel the vibration of what you're doing. Some people like to turn up their music, and music is a great, great enhancer, to when you're not feeling well, turn on music, play Pandora, do something that you feel really good about. That always helps you to feel better whenever you play your music. And people know that, but it's a wonderful thing to mention because it's sound. Everything about life is sound. Sound is life. Did you know that also that around the planets there are vibrational frequencies? Science has discovered that each planet has a tone.
That's fascinating. The mystical tradition of the music of the spheres. That
Yes.
also fascinating to contemplate. How ultimately our sounds that we make here in butterfly wing flapping sort of fashion can
Yes.
reach and touch the outer reaches of the cosmos.
Yes. Yes.
Connect us all.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning the butterfly wings. I don't know many people that know that when a butterfly flaps its wings on one side of the world, you can actually feel it on the other side of the world.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's also an empowering thought to keep in mind, that how your personal tones that you may be making in your living room, if you project them outwards with that intention of benefit, first for yourself, but also for the planet as a whole and the evolution of the consciousness of humanity, whatever intention.
Yes, absolutely, because you are that. You are that. So the more that you understand that, the more that you allow that. Allowing is the word here. When you allow that, then you become that. And then you are the co-creator. It's beautiful. And the other thing that's really kind of cool is to understand that, people are going through stem cells today. We're talking a lot about stem cells. I am a stem cell energy therapist, and I go down to Mexico a lot of times to work with people with Parkinson's and any kind of autoimmune dysfunction. And a lot of times what I find is when you can tone for yourself in your body to your stem cells. It's your intention, and you can literally do that, and it doesn't cost you a dime. It's amazing what it can do as long as your intention suits what you want. So you can actually go to your stem cells in your body and go to the heart, because the heart is the place where they magnify first. They love to magnify in the heart. They look for a host. Anytime I've worked with anybody with an autoimmune dysfunction with stem cells, especially in Mexico, because they're real good about that with autoimmune dysfunctions, it goes to the heart first. It's looking for the host, and the host is you. So you're the one that's going to feed your own stem cells through your understanding that you can tone and talk to them through sound.
That is brilliant. I've actually never heard that particular spin and focus of intention, toning to your stem cells. Recalling back to your thoughts about cymatics, which demonstrates that sound has the ability to create form, is one of the punchlines of that work. But focusing that to the stem cells, which have the power or have the ability to shift and change into many different types of cells and structures, that is a powerful angle to think about.
Yes, it is. It is, honey. And the other thing is that if you don't feel comfortable with the sound that you're making in your voice, it'll tell you. It'll be like nails on the chalkboard. You'll feel like, maybe that's just not the tone for me, and then you want to do a deeper tone. I would tell you that what I found is that deeper tones actually give you more vibration. There are high tones too. A lot of people have the high tones, but the low tones actually have a deep sense of delta, and they go directly in there. It's just like nothing stands in their way. So, try a little deeper tone. If it doesn't feel right to you when you're doing your humming, then try a little bit of a deeper tone, and that will go right into your body anywhere you want it to go. Just tell it what to do.
Beautiful. And I also love that information about how the heart is a main repository for these undeveloped stem cells.
Mhm.
And that toning that focuses on the heart
Mhm.
could
Mhm.
be a powerful way to access them as well, which made me think of the heart math, heart centering exercise. Would
Absolutely.
you like to say a little bit about that and how that could be morphed into a toning exercise,
Oh
perhaps?
yeah, yeah. See, I've kind of developed my own because I'm an energy runner and I have been for 40 years at least to do these things with people. But it's the heart math absolutely has information about how the frequencies and the consciousness and the putting together your higher frequencies in your body through addressing what your heart is doing. You know, how does the heart beat? And you're sitting there listening to your own, frequency through your heart. You can feel it. And then, it's just beautiful. I would suggest anybody learn heart math because it really does entice you into understanding how to keep yourself calm. But there's so much more to it. It's how to understand your own consciousness and the power within yourself. That's really the bottom line. But it's also what you do for the world in your heart. Your heart is actually going to magnify a field around you called an electromagnetic field. That alone is another topic, but that is what's around our body, 2.5 to 3 feet outside of your body, is no different than the Earth having the Schumann frequency. You have an electromagnetic field. And some people call it an aura, but in science, we call it an electromagnetic field. Why? Because it can be measured. So when they say it's measurable and you can put it on a scale and you can see it, that's how they look at that. So you can say, okay, this is really, really cool. All right. And so what you do with your vibration through your toning, through your heart, is going to increase the vibration in your electromagnetic field. And you can also change, you want to hear this one?
Sure.
Your past life energies.
Ah,
Past life energies are in your electromagnetic field from your heart. That's why a lot of people can't get over a lot of their problems, because they're still stuck in memory. They're stuck in the way that things were. So what we're doing is now we're kind of coming back and saying, hey, I'm in charge of this. I can do this. And so it's like a whole new beginning for us. And we're in the perfect time in history to be able to change things the way we would like to see them happen through that positive intention.
beautiful. That's a powerful message for these days. Which, if you scan through the news, it's, easy to be challenged by some of the headlines, but
Right, right. Yes. But remember that it has to be through the chaos that there's actually a method to the madness. And so it's like if we didn't have the chaos, then we wouldn't know how to be able to direct our own energies to become what we want to become through unification, through a new beginning. So we are the ones creating it, many times Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, my brothers out there, they actually talk about the frequencies, the fractal memories, all of the things that come up right now. But at that same time, we want to remember that you are a lone person who understands how you can move, how you can change, and how powerful you are just through your own heart. It is your life that you are also attributing to our world.
that is a beautiful lesson. And that may be our summary takeaway: how sound can be a form of self-empowerment and
Yes.
to surf and modulate, transmute a lot of the energies that may be coming from without into new positive
Yeah.
currents.
Right, right. And one last thing, Alec, just the one thing for people to remember, because of these times, we have to remember that because the Schumann resonance is actually very active right now, we have to remember that we are too. That's why it feels so intense right now. But it's also the universe's way of saying, let's create a higher consciousness in this world. Let's go to the brain and let's have the brain waves actually match the sound waves. So in other words, if some people feel like they don't know who they are the next day, they say, I don't know, I feel so different. I don't feel like I used to feel. Well, that's actually a good thing, because what it's doing is you are naturally being allowed to start moving forward from the heart in the moment, the way you choose to do so, not from your past, but from the moment that you're in, to create what you want in your future.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.